Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for waiting. So sorry about the small delay in our classes. So let's get started right away. So, hi, my name is Karen, and I will be your trainer for today. So, let's get started. What do you think this picture is? So, this is an oh, right. All right. What do you think this picture is? There is an absolute close up of this. What do you think it is? No, it's a cruise ship. How many of you all guessed that it is a cruise ship? So, do you understand what is the relation between a ship and today's class? I'm pretty sure you must be a little confused. Don't worry, I'll take you through it. So, imagine that you have won 1 lakh rupees. Okay? So, you may choose to go on a cruise to Andaman and Nicobar Islands, or Mauritius, or Indonesia. All right. So, since you have all of this money with you, you've got a chance to go on a wonderful, luxurious cruise. I would like you to, take a, take some time to yourself and think which cruise would you go to. All right. So, would you choose to go to Andaman Nicobar Islands, or would you choose to go to Mauritius, or would you choose to go to Indonesia? All right. So, you can have about few seconds to think of your answer. I think my answer would be probably Mauritius. I feel like Mauritius is a much, it's a really beautiful place, and I would really like to go there and just see the place once in my entire lifetime. What about you guys? All right. So, what did I make you do? I asked you to make a choice between Andaman and Nicobar Islands, or Mauritius, or Indonesia. You have been given 3 options. All right. And you were asked to make a choice for these 3 options. All right. So, in today's session, we are going to learn some really wonderful phrases to express your choices. And we're also going to practice these phrases. So, today, we are going to learn words and phrases, what you're going to speak when you have made a choice. All right. So the first one is, the phrases for making or expressing your choice. So you can say, I have decided to, or I would rather, or I have weighed my options and decided to, or I'll go with my gut, or my instinct tells me, or weighing the pros and cons after careful consideration. It's my snap decision. Can't put my finger on it, but I would go with. All right, so these are different phrases you can use for expressing your choice. So, I have decided to, I would rather, I have weighed my options and decided to. So, over here, these two are quite upfront. All right, so quite upfront, and you can tell that, all right, you have made the decision right away. But when you say, I have weighed my options and decided to, that means you are given quite plenty of choices like this one. Over here, I have given you 3 options, right? So you have weighed your options, you have weighed each and every one of them, and finally you have decided to go with one option. Like how I have decided to go to Mauritius. Go with my gut, my instinct. What does that mean? So sometimes when you make decisions, we can't always rely on external factors, right? Sometimes you will have to go with what your heart tells you, what you feel on the inside. So that feeling is called gut feeling. All right. So sometimes when you are doing something and you know that there is something wrong, so it'll be on the inside, right? That is your gut feeling. So my gut feeling, my instinct. All right. Then we have weighing the pros and cons. What are pros and cons? Pros are the good sides of, like, suppose if I make this decision. All right. Suppose if I make a decision to go to Mauritius, all right, what are the pros? What are the good things about going to Mauritius? And cons, what are the bad things about going to Mauritius? So, for instance, we have pros and cons of using your mobile phone. So, the pros are communication is extremely easy. Wherever you are, you can communicate to someone. Another pro is you have a lot of apps to help you with day-to-day activities. The cons are sometimes it can be very addicting, or it can lower your social life. It can limit your social life and your human interaction and bring you only to your virtual world. So that is the meaning of pros and cons, like the good things and the bad things. After careful consideration. So consideration means after careful thought, after thinking carefully, all right, I have really thought about it for a really long time. Now I make my decision. Okay. It is my snap decision. So what's the difference between careful consideration and snap decision? Are they the same? So how fast is a snap? It's really fast, right? So snap decision means a decision you make on the whim, immediately. So someone's just like, okay, fine. Would you like, well, what would you like to have for lunch? Immediately you're like biryani. So that's like a snap decision. But if they go, what would you like to have for lunch? And you think about your choices. Okay, there is biryani, there is fried rice, there is kottu paratha. So you are carefully considering all of your options, right? So that is the difference. You're thinking properly, you're wondering what you would like to have for that one particular day, and then you make your decision. Okay, so after careful consideration, I would like to have biryani for my lunch. But when you ask me the question and immediately I answer, then it is snap decision. All right. Can't put my finger on it, but I'd go with. So over here, you're not really sure about your decision. You're just like, okay, I'm not really sure. Can't put my finger on it, but I think I would go with so and so decision. All right. Now, we have looked at phrases to express when you're making a choice, right? I have decided I'd rather do this. It's my snap decision too. Now we are going to look at phrases to express your confusion between the choices. So, um, you're not going to have a decision all the time, correct? You're going to be torn between your choices, between your options. Sometimes, let's say your friend is asking you a choice between this phone and that. So your friend is like, hey, I would like to buy a new phone. Yeah. So now there are two different phones, and you do not know which one to get, right? So you would like to, you probably prefer the camera on this phone, but you really like the user interface over here. Maybe you like the storage in this phone, but you like how this phone is much more user friendly. So now, have you made a decision or are you in between choices? So meanwhile, this phone is good in some aspects, this phone is good in other aspects. So have you made a choice? No, you're confused. So you can say, I am in two minds. I'm in two minds. I do not know whether to use this, I mean, whether to buy an Apple phone or an Android phone. On one hand, Apple phone has a lot of features. On the other hand, Android phones are much more user friendly. Debating between, on the fence, I'm having second thoughts, I'm torn between, I'm in a dilemma over. It's a tough call to choose between. Yeah. So all of these phrases are used to express your confusion. All right. So you can say, I am in two minds. On one hand, then you can list out the pros of this choice. On another hand, list out the pros of this choice. I am debating in between. I am on the fence. I'm having second thoughts. I'm torn between. I'm in a dilemma over. It's a tough call to choose between so and so. So you can always use these phrases to express your confusion. All right. So why don't we have a quick revision? First, we looked at phrases to use when you're expressing your thoughts. Now we're looking at phrases to use when you are confused. All right, confused between your decisions. Now, phrases to use when you have not made your decision. All right, this can especially happen when you are deciding which college to go to. Yeah. So maybe you have applied for three different colleges and all three colleges have accepted. So now you do not know, which college to go to, right? So you can say, I haven't decided yet. So someone's like, okay, which college have you decided to go to? I haven't decided yet. I have not made up my mind yet. I don't want to rush into. I would like to keep my options open. I need to mull over. My decision about so and so is still up in the air. Okay. So let's go back to our two phones. Okay. Because I was torn between the two, right? I am in two minds. I am on the fence between using this phone or this phone. So now someone is coming and asking me, hey, so which phone have you decided to use today? Or which phone have you decided to finally buy? You can always say, I have not decided, I have not made up my mind yet, or I don't want to rush into this decision, like how we make snap decisions, right? Over here, we don't want to rush into the decisions. I would like to keep my options open. I need to mull over. My decision about my new phones is still up in the air. Okay, so these are phrases to use when you have not yet decided. So let's take a quick look at what all we learned. Phrases when you're expressing your decision. All right. I have decided to. I would rather. I have weighed my options and decided to. I'll go with my gut, or my instinct tells me when weighing the pros and cons. After careful consideration, it's my snap decision to. Can't put my finger on it, but I would go with so and so. And here is phrases to use when you are confused between two choices. I am in two minds. On one hand, um, list out your pros. Okay, so on one hand, Apple has a lot of features. On the other hand, Android phones are much more user friendly. I am debating between. So I am debating between Apple and Android. I'm on the fence over Android and Apple. I'm having second thoughts with my decisions. I am torn between. I'm in a dilemma over. It's a tough call to choose between. All right. Now, here are phrases to use when we haven't made a decision yet. I have not decided. I have not made up my mind yet. I don't want to rush into. I would like to keep my options open. I need to mull over. My decision about so and so is still up in the air. Now that you have learned all of these phrases, let me put myself up there. Okay. You have learned all of these phrases, right? So now let's put our knowledge to the test. Which of the following is an appropriate sentence to use when you are not sure about your choices? After weighing the pros and cons, I have decided to freelance. I haven't decided the university yet. I would like to keep my options open. I'm on the fence trying to decide whether to accept the job offer or pursue my post graduation. All right. So, among all of these options, which option is the most appropriate to tell when you are not sure about your choices? I will give you about a minute to look at the different options and share your answer. All right. So let's look at the correct answer, shall we? So since we've asked about which is an appropriate sentence to use when you're not sure about your choices, it's C. I'm on the fence trying to decide whether to accept the job offer or pursue my post-graduation. All right. So after weighing the pros and cons, I have decided to freelance. That means you have already made your choice. I haven't decided yet. It means that you haven't made your decisions yet. I'm on the fence means you are not sure. You're between two thoughts. Now, let's do some exercises, shall we? All right. So, here is the conversation between Shruti and Veena. All right. Hi, Shruti. How are you doing? How's your little baby girl? Hi, Veena. We're both doing great. Thanks for asking. How old is she now? She is just over 6 months. Wow, already? It feels like she was just born yesterday. Your maternity leave must be coming to an end, isn't it? What have you decided about getting back to work? So, over here, which of the following responses should Shruti use to convey that she is yet to make a decision about getting back to work? So, does this mean that Shruti has decided or not? So, Shruti hasn't decided yet. Okay. So, I will give you about a minute to sit and answer this question. Okay. So let's look at the correct answer, shall we? I don't know, Veena. It's a tough decision to make. I am taking my time to mull over getting back to work. All right. So I have weighed the pros and cons of getting back to work and have decided. So over here, what's happening? Shruti has already made her decision. I'm debating between going to work and going on unpaid leave for another 6 months. Okay. So this one, has she made the decision yet? Exactly. So she is in the process. Okay. And I am most certainly getting back to work next month. So that means she has already made her decision and she is going to work. But over here, she is yet to make a decision. All right. Is I don't know, Veena. It's a tough decision to make. I am taking my time. So what's the difference between options B and C? Option B tells you that she hasn't made a decision yet and she is taking her time to make a decision. Meanwhile, C, it shows that she is between two choices. Okay, so that is the difference. C is showing that you're between two choices, meanwhile, B shows that you haven't even made the choice yet. Okay, so you're taking your time. All right. So here's another conversation between Nitin and Suraj, and you should answer the question that follows. Hi Suraj, have you arrived at a decision about college and the course you would want to pursue? Which of the following responses can Suraj use to express that he has done quite a lot of research and is absolutely sure about his decision? Okay, so I'm going to give you about 1 minute to sit and make your decision. Okay, so let's look at the answer, shall we? After careful consideration, I have decided to take up mechanical engineering in SRM College. Okay, so why haven't we chosen the others? So my instinct tells me to take up. So instinct and gut feeling. Is this a decision you make after research, or is it a decision you make because of your thoughts and your mind, not because of research, because your something inside you tells you, your heart tells you. Exactly. So it's something that your heart tells you. So it's not exactly well researched decision. It's something that your heart is telling you that I want to do this, so and so. That's why you have taken up this decision. Okay. I haven't made up my mind about taking up mechanical engineering in SRM. So over here, they haven't made a decision at all. I'm in two minds, which shows that I am in between choices. Okay. So finally, like C is correct because we are asking about one place, we're asking about an option that you're absolutely sure of your decision after doing meticulous amounts of research. Which of the following responses can you use to express that that you did not do much thinking before making a choice? I went with my gut and bought the new Samsung Galaxy A3 mobile phone. I have weighed the options before buying the new Samsung Galaxy A3 mobile. I would like to take my time to think about buying the Samsung Galaxy A3 mobile. And I'm torn between buying the Samsung Galaxy A3, A30 or buying the Redmi Note 10, Note 10. Both have impressive features. Okay, so I am going to give you, one second. All right, I am going to give you about 1 minute to answer this. Okay, so let's look at the answer, shall we? So it is, I went with my gut and bought the new Samsung Galaxy A30 mobile phone. So over here, we're talking about decisions that you do not think much before making the choice. All right. So over here in this phrase, you said, I went with my gut. Like in the previous phrase, remember I asked you which phrase to use after you have made your careful decision and your research. Over here, you're not really making a careful research, right? You are suddenly you've decided to do this. So A is a correct answer. I have weighed my options before buying the new Samsung 13. So that means you have done your research. I would like to take my time to think about buying the Samsung Galaxy A30 mobile. So this means you haven't made a decision yet. I'm torn between buying the Samsung Galaxy A30 or buying the Redmi Note 10. Over here, it means that you are between two options. Okay, so here's another conversation between Manish and Hema. Hi Manish, congratulations on your promotion. You totally deserve it. Hi Hema, thank you so much. I'm not really sure whether I should be happy or sad about this opportunity. I thought you always wanted this. Why do you seem confused? So, which of the following responses can Manish use to respond to Hema to express his confusion about accepting the promotion. So you have a minute to answer this. Okay, so let's look at the current decision, shall we? So over here, he is showing his confusion whether he has to accept the promotion or not. So on one hand, this promotion will help me advance my career. On the other, I need to move to Mumbai. Okay, so over here it shows that he is not yet sure about his decision. I haven't decided yet. I don't want to rush into the moment. That means he hasn't made the decision at all. I have given it a lot of thought and I have decided to accept the promotion. That means he has made a decision. I can't put my finger on it, but I've decided to accept promotion, though it requires me to relocate. So over here, he has also made his decision. But over here, we can see that he is confused between making a choice or making this choice. Now, what does Gautam mean when he says the following? You can choose more than one option. When I first laid my eyes on the XUV 700, I instantly knew it was a car for me. You could say that buying the XUV 700 was a snap decision. So, what does this mean? Okay, so the correct options are A and C. All right. So he didn't take much time to make the decision. That shows that one. And he is expressing his decision of buying XUV 700 has been made, even though there's not much thought. So snap decision is something that doesn't take much thought to put. All right. So what is the opposite of snap decision? Weighing your options, okay, after careful consideration and all that. So that means you have really taken the time to sit and think about it. So that is the opposite of snap decision. Okay, so before we play the game of shipwreck, I would just like to give you all 1 minute to go through all of the phrases which we have learned. So you can note these phrases down, or if you want, you can take a, you can take a good look at them and write it down as well. Okay. So I will give you 1 minute for each slide, and then we can play the game of shipwreck. So all of these are phrases making for expressing your choice. That means you have decided. Okay. And keep in mind, snap decision is something which you don't put a lot of thought into. Okay. Careful consideration is something. Careful consideration, pros and cons. You are putting a lot of thought, weighed options and decided. Gut, I'll go with my gut. My instinct tells me this one, and snap decision. These are all choices you haven't put your thought into. Now, next, confusion between choices. Keep in mind, these we're talking about being confused between two choices. Sorry. Okay. So these are confusion between two choices, and it's not that you haven't made a decision yet. That means you're just confused. Okay. So I'm in two minds. On one hand, you can tell the pros of this option or the cons of this option. On the other hand, the pros or the cons of the option. All right. Now let's look at the other ones. Uh, Phrases to use when you haven't made a decision yet. Okay. So, haven't decided, not made up my mind, don't want to rush into. I would like to keep my options open. I would like to mull over. My decision about so and so is still up in the air. Okay. So now that we've learned all of these phrases, let's play a game of shipwreck. So in the beginning, remember when I asked you about, going to Andaman and Nicobar Islands or Mauritius or Indonesia, right? Imagine that you have made your decision, okay, to go to one of these places and you are on your wonderful cruise ship. Unfortunately, just like the Titanic, there is a shipwreck. All right. So this is a disaster cruise ship. There is a shipwreck happening. So now you have a couple of people. All right. So now you have to make a decision between saving these people because you are on a lifeboat and there is room only for three people. So there's room only for three people, and you'll have to leave the other three in the sinking ship. I know it's very dark. So let's see our options, shall we? So we have sailor. Okay, he's the only one with navigation skills on the small boat. However, he smells like he might be intoxicated. Next, we have the rich man. He is very unfriendly. Okay, but since he is really rich, maybe he can really help and share his money with all of the survivors. He says that if you save me, then I will give my money to all of the survivors. Soldier. So he has fought for the country in many wars. He's got excellent survival skills and he might be able to help someone. Prime Minister, most powerful man in the country. If you don't save him, survivors might be in trouble. Crying girl. So she doesn't need much space, but she's a spoiled brat who keeps crying all the time and irritates everyone. Then the pregnant woman, a single mother with two children at home. She might not survive the harsh waves on a small boat anyway. Okay. So, which person would you choose to save? Which three people would you choose to save, and which three people would you leave in the sinking ship? This is very interesting. Let me also join the game. I'm looking at all of the options. I'm making careful consideration. I'm actually torn between the rich man and the prime minister. Because rich man, like on one hand, the rich man said that he will share money with all of the survivors, but on the other, he could be lying, right? And so I have decided, like, it's my snap decision to save the soldier because I have a strong feeling that he has excellent survival skills. He's gonna help someone. So he is a necessity. So, soldier, snap decision, not much thought put into it. Now I'm considering every other option. I'm weighing the options carefully. Um, I'm in a dilemma between the pregnant woman and the crying girl because both of them, the crying girl still has her entire life ahead of her, but the pregnant woman has like one life inside and she's also another life. So it's like two lives. Hmm. I think, okay, after some careful consideration, I would choose to save the pregnant woman. And now, finally, okay, so I have been putting off this decision because my decision between the rich man and the prime minister is still up in the air, but now it's time to make a decision. I think I will have to save the prime minister because survivors might be in trouble and I don't want to deal with the entire country blaming us for not saving him. So my decision is the soldier, the pregnant woman, and the prime minister. So did you guys have fun when you did this? It was quite fun, wasn't it? Made you think a little bit. So sailor, maybe he can survive. That is if he's not intoxicated. Rich man, he's a terrible person. So yeah, you can just go away. And the crying girl, feel I feel really bad for abandoning the small child, but you have to do what you have to do, right? Okay. So thank you so much. That has been like the end to this one particular lesson. Now let's move on to the next lesson. So just a second. Okay. So just give me a second. I will pull out the other lesson. Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you three questions. Okay. And I want you to answer them. All right. So the three questions are, why do people go to gym every day? As a first question. The second question is, why does Rajnikant or Shah Rukh Khan have such a huge fan base? Third question is, why is education important? Okay, so I'm asking these three questions and I would like you all to answer these questions. So, have you formed your answers for these questions? Yeah. So let me also join in. Um, so why do people go to the gym every day? I believe that the main reason why people go to the gym is a result of social media, mainly because they see a lot of these people with wonderful toned bodies and they also wish that they could also start looking attractive. So maybe that's the main reason why they hit the gym. Um, why does Rajnikant? I feel like Rajnikant has a huge fan base because of his style. So his style attracts a lot of people, and also maybe his rags to riches story. So that's why I feel like Rajnikant has a huge fan base. And why is education? Education is important because without education, there is no way you can survive in today's world. And also, education is extremely important so that um, if you're not ignorant, then people won't be able to take advantage of you. Yeah, people wouldn't be able to exploit your ignorance and take advantage of you. So that's why I believe that education is important. Now, what do all of these questions have in common? They all start with the question why, right? So, giving reasons, okay, and explanations, they are a very essential part of communication. Okay, so maybe be it in your personal life or even in your professional life, you will end up making decisions or giving reasons for your decisions and your explanations. So when you have answered all of these three questions, especially me, when I answered them, what are the phrases I use to respond to this question? I mainly used because, right? So, because is the most common word which we use to respond to the question why. All right. But other than because, there are many words and phrases which you can use. Other than because, there are many words and phrases you can use to give your reasons because that will help make your answers all the more interesting and accurate. Okay. So, in today's session, we are going to look at different words and phrases which we can use to give reasons and also some linking words to use while giving reasons. All right. So this is what we are going to cover in the second lesson of the day. All right. Learn useful words and phrases to give reasons and explanations and linking words also for giving reasons. Okay. So here's first question. All right. Why did you cancel our dinner plans on Friday? Sorry, Preeti, it was a hectic week at work. We had to meet some tight deadlines due to huge new project. So, which of the following is true about the above conversation? Nisha explains that the cause of the project work for the hectic work week and tight deadlines is a huge new project. Nisha explains that as a result of meeting the tight deadlines, they landed on a huge new project. Take a good look at the conversation and give me your. Okay. So the answer is the cause for the hectic week and the cause for canceling dinner project is because of a hectic week. All right. And what is the cause of a hectic week and tight deadlines? It's this new project. All right. So that is the correct answer. So now, when we talk about the cause of something, that is a reason which made something happen. All right. Due to is a phrase when you usually talk about causes. So remember, I was talking about why people go to the gym, right? So I feel like the cause is mainly social media. So due to social media, people like to go to the gym and work on their appearance. Yeah. So over here, which is the cause we're talking about? Social media. So social media is the cause, and what is the result? People going to the gym. So when we're talking about reasons and when we would like to express our causes, we can always use due to. All right. Now, here are some more phrases which you can say when you are talking about causes. All right. So, owing to, thanks to, on the account of, apparently, the reason behind something is. So, the reason behind people going to the gym is. All right. So, let's assume, okay, that you are work, like that. Let's assume that you are late for work, and that's because you got stuck in traffic. All right. So you are on your way to work and you're completely late because you are stuck in traffic. The reason for this traffic jam is because of an overturned truck. All right. So your boss asks you, why are you so late? So can you use one of these following phrases to explain why you're late? Maybe we can say that I am late thanks to an overturned truck that caused an entire traffic jam that, didn't allow me to come to college or come to work. I was late on the account of an unexpected accident on the road. Apparently, there was an overturned truck on the road, which is why I became late. The reason for this is because so and so. All right. So if you have any doubts, let me know. Now, let's answer another question. Oh my god, you look a mess. Weren't you supposed to get a haircut last weekend? I know, Lata. I painstakingly spent an entire Saturday afternoon baking a cake for my husband and therefore missed my appointment for a haircut at the salon. Which of the following is true about the above conversation? Priya explains that the cause of her messy hair is that she had to bake a cake for her husband. Priya explains that the cause of her messy hair is not being able to go to the salon was a result of baking a cake for her husband. So which is true in this above scenario. So the correct answer is B. So Priya explains that her not being able to go to the salon was a result of baking a cake for her husband. Okay. So in situations when you need to explain that something happened as a result of something else, okay, we need to use phrases for giving reasons, which is results. All right. So in the conversation we saw in the previous question, Priya used the word. Which word did she use? Therefore. Okay. So Priya used Therefore, to explain that her hair is still a mess because she missed her salon appointment. So that was a result. So the the result of her missing the salon appointment was baking the cake for her husband on the same day. So here are some more phrases you can use to talk about giving reasons for your results. All right. So when we talk about the results or consequences of something, that is a reason because of which something happened, we use the following words. Therefore is a word which we mainly use. We also use thus, as a result of, as a consequence of, for this reason, to the end, by the virtue of. All right. So you can take a minute to look at all of these phrases. So I'm pretty sure um, we know the words therefore and thus. There's another word starting with H. Hence. So yeah, we were talking about yeah, we were talking about Priya's cake, this thing, right? So um I spent the entire Saturday afternoon baking a cake for my husband, thus I missed my appointment. So as a result of spending my entire Saturday afternoon baking a cake for my husband, I missed my appointment. As a consequence of, so both as a result and as a consequence have the same meaning. So as a consequence of spending the entire Saturday baking a cake for my husband, I missed my appointment. And also we have maybe you can frame the sentence as hmm, I spent the entire of my Saturday afternoon baking a cake for my husband. For this reason, I missed my appointment. And also to that end, by virtue of. All right. So these are phrases which we can use to give your results. So here are phrases for causes. Okay. So so we're talking about like a hectic week at work because of a new project. So hectic week at work owing to a new project. Hectic week at work thanks to a new project. Hectic week at work on the account of a new project. So apparently this new project, that's why it was a hectic week at work. The reason for the hectic week at work is because of a new project, or the reason behind hectic week at work is because of a new project. And then results. Okay, so over here, she, you know, she baked a cake for her husband. And what's the result of her baking a cake for her husband? She missed her appointment. Okay, so results are thus, therefore, hence, as a result of, as a consequence of, for this reason, to that end, by virtue of. Okay, so these are the phrases which we use to give our reasons. Now, Sam wanted to become a pilot. Dash, he studied diligently and took flying lessons. To that end, as a consequence of, and thanks to, which is a correct option. Okay, so let's look at the correct answer, shall we? To that end. So we are looking at results over here. So he wants to become a pilot. So what is he doing? So as a result of him trying to become a pilot, he's studying diligently and he's taking flying lessons. So for all of this, to that end is the correct option. All right. So Sam wanted to become a pilot. To that end, he studied diligently and took flying lessons. So you can replace to that end with therefore or thus or hence. Okay. Now, Didi, why is it that you never take me to our common friends' parties with you? Dash. If you rearrange the following sentences in the correct order, you will get the appropriate response given by Varsha. Okay. So I'm going to give you solid 1.5 minutes, okay, to do this. So you can look at the sentences. Okay, so let's look at the answer, shall we? It's 3, 4, 2, 1. So one easy way of doing is because we have the word first, right? So firstly, you're never on time. Then after firstly, what comes next? So the next option. Then after that, finally. So first you're giving one answer, one reason. Next, you are following it up with another one. All right, and then finally you have one more decision, and so you have laid out all of your decision, and then after that suddenly you remember, oh, wait, hold on, there is one more reason why I'm not taking you to the party. So then you say additionally. All right. So I'm sure the words firstly, next, finally, and additionally would have helped you form this answer. Correct? So these words are called list words. So they help us understand the order of reasons when you have more than one reason or explanation to provide. Okay. So, so so such words and expressions, including like list words and all of that, they help you to connect and organize your sentences, right? So they are called discourse markers or linking words, all right? So these are words and expressions that help to connect and organize sentences. So sentences like additionally, firstly, next, finally. So all of these are all linking words or discourse markers. So remember we started like the reasons, no, sorry, started listing out with one reason, right? So over here, you can you see? Firstly, so we have to start with in the first place, first and foremost, at the outset, the jumping off point is. Okay, so all of these are beginning of your lists to give reason. So they're all quite straightforward, right? So firstly, you can say that, or to start with, in the first place, first and foremost. Sometimes people say first things first also. First things first, at the outset, the jumping off point. All right. So these are words which you can use at the beginning of your reason to provide the first reason in your series of reasons. These are words which you can use to mention reasons that follows your first point. So firstly, then we can say secondly, beyond that, moving on to the next, or just next, subsequently, the penultimate decision. Okay. So all of these phrases, it shows that they are the next point. So over here, this person, she had like three. So maybe you can say secondly, then after the second point, third point, you can say beyond that, or moving on to the next, or subsequently. All right. Now, finally, you're going to the end of your list. So to show the end of your list, you can use the following phrases, all right, to let your listener know that your reasoning is coming to an end with this point. Finally, lastly, to conclude, in conclusion, in summary, bringing up the rear. All right. So I'll go through these phrases one by one. Sorry, these slides one by one. So you can take a note of these phrases. Now, next one. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your second point. So secondly will be your second point. If you're going to give your third and fourth points, which are like somewhere in the middle, you can say beyond that, moving on to the next, or next, penultimate decision. Okay. And then final. Okay. So which one of these phrases would you use to get to a point which is in the middle? So are we talking about the first, or are we talking about the last point? We're talking about the middle. So which one? So I'll give you about a minute. So beyond that. Okay, so that talks about your reasons in the middle. Bringing up the rear is the final one. To start with, and jumping off point are the first ones. Okay. So remember we said additionally. So this is like when you have completed all of your reasons and now you have some more reasons to give as well. So you have finished your list. Suddenly you're like, oh wait, hold on. I've got one more reason. So we have as well as, furthermore, besides, moreover, coupled with, on top of that. Okay, so you have given all of your reasons. On top of that, you have another reason. Okay, so When you're adding more information, you use these following phrases, and you can also use additionally as well. Okay. Now, before we move on to practice activity, we'll look at all the phrases which we have learned. Okay. So when you talk about the cause of something, okay, that is the reason which made something happen, owing to, thanks to, on the account of, apparently, the reason behind so and so is. When you're talking about the results of something, okay, so we have therefore, thus, hence, as a result of, as a consequence of, for this reason, to that end, by virtue of. Then later, we're looking at linking words, which help us link our reasons. So when we have like a list of reasons, the beginning one would be, firstly, to start with, the first place, first and foremost, at the outset, jumping off point. Then in the middle, you have secondly, beyond that, moving on to the next, subsequently, the penultimate decision. And then finally, for your last one, you have finally, lastly, to conclude, in conclusion, in summary, bringing up the rear. And then you have additionally, as well as, furthermore, besides, moreover, coupled with, and on top of that. Okay. Now, let's do some practice questions to put our knowledge to the test. Okay. So I will be giving you 1 minute to answer each question. Okay. Now, Smita, what happened to your dress? Why is it torn and dirty? Oh, this tear is dash. Harish is closing the door of the car with a bit of the dress still hanging out. You can guess how it got dirty. So which is the correct answer? So the correct answer is thanks to. So this tear is thanks to Harish closing the door of a car with a bit of the dress still hanging outside. All right. So if you say apparently, since, the reason behind, all of these are correct, but they come in the beginning of the sentence. Thanks to would come in the middle. Okay. So thanks to is the correct one. So since, apparently, at the beginning, all of that is your start of the sentences. Now we are in middle of the sentence. That's why we say thanks to. Next, I got this car on my hand, dash, hitting by hockey stick in my childhood. Fill in the blank with the correct answers. You may choose more than one option. So I'll give you about a minute to do this. So let's look at the answer, shall we? So you can use as a consequence of or as a result of. Okay. So thus is something you say to put a pause on it. And therefore, all right. But over here, I got this scar on my hand as a result of. So maybe we can say a hockey stick hit me, thus I got the scar on my hand. Or a hockey stick struck me, therefore I have the scar on. But we put this thing first. I have the scar on my hand as a consequence of getting hit by a hockey stick. Alright, so when you put the result later on, as a consequence of and as a result will appear. Now, fill in the blank with the correct answer. Why did you not attend the team outing? I wasn't well on the other day. On top of that, there was also that cab strike, remember? I wouldn't have been able to get to the venue. So over here, we can see that there is a linking word, isn't it? You have on top of that, which is a linking word. Okay. So, your time starts now. Look at the options and tell your answer. So remember, this is a linking word. Okay. What's coming first? Exactly. So the correct answer is first and foremost. Okay. So over here, you're listing out your reasons. So not only is this person, so not only is she not well, there was also a cab strike. So there were like multiple reasons, right? So since you're listing out the reasons, you're beginning with one. So first and foremost. Now, fill in the blanks with the correct answer. The low pressure in the Bay of Bengal dash the rainy weather in Odisha. Hmm. So, which is the correct answer? Could account for. All right. So the low pressure in Bay of Bengal could account for the rainy weather in Odisha. All right. So everything else, it doesn't really complete the sentence. So the low pressure in the Bay of Bengal, consequently, that is not wrong, is owing. So if it's is owing to, okay, so where that happened? So the rainy weather in Odisha is owing to the low pressure in Bay of Bengal. So that's when you use is owing to. All right. Okay. Now finally we have the cool weather dash, the warm bed made me sleep till 11 a.m. last Sunday. So the cool weather coupled with the warm bed made me sleep in till 11 a.m. last Sunday. Okay, so coupled with is the cool weather plus. Okay, so think of it as another word for plus. So the cool weather and the warm bed, the cool weather plus the warm bed and cool weather coupled with the warm bed made me sleep in till 11 a.m. last Sunday. Okay, so now let's use all of the phrases which we learned. So here is a message, okay, it's about Rani who has a problem and she needs your help. Okay, so hi, I hope you can, oh, sorry. Hi, I hope you can help me. I've got a problem and I need your help to solve it. My name is Rani and I'm 22 years old. I had applied for my master's and I've got admission in two colleges. Both colleges are not in my hometown. One is in Bangalore, where I have relatives, and one is in Delhi, where I will be on my own. I am really confused. Please help me decide. Okay, so over here, what is Rani's problem? What is her issue? So she has applied for her master's and she got admission in two different colleges. Okay. So one college, it is in Bangalore. Okay. And one is in Delhi. So here are some points which you can help decide. So in Bangalore, she's got her relatives, but she doesn't get along with her cousin. And her parents also want her to choose a college which is in the city where her relatives use. And then the college in Bangalore has a lot of extracurricular activities. If I choose Bangalore, she can also visit her home frequently. But then on the other hand, her relatives are quite nosy and they have strict rules, and she doesn't know Kannada or Hindi. So when you look at Delhi, she was like, if I don't start living alone now at 22 years old, when will I? And then, she also heard that the college in Delhi has best placements. She has a school friend in Delhi, though they haven't really been in touch. And Delhi is like the center point for many tourist places, right? So that's also one good thing. And then a new place, new friends, new culture, it might be a good experience. So she will learn to be independent. But one problem is that her parents heard that Delhi is not safe and they don't want her to go to Delhi. So, what advice would you give Rani? Even I'll also do this activity with you. Okay. Hmm. That's amazing placement. Hmm. Okay. So, if I have to choose, then I think I would choose. Hmm. I would choose Delhi for Rani. So, the reason for choosing Delhi is because Rani is only 22 years old, and she needs to start living on her own, correct? And so so the college in Delhi has best placements, right? So thanks to that, Rani has a higher chance of getting a job. And also, I feel like living independently is much more better than living with your relatives. This is my opinion. I feel like living independently is better than living with your relatives because, firstly, you don't really have the independence to, like, sorry, you don't have like the freedom to live independently. You don't have the freedom to like live as you please. That is one thing. Secondly, your schedule will clash with your relative schedule. So you will have like, your own schedule to like eat, bathe, sleep. But now you're living with people who you didn't live all your life with, right? So then you will have to do a lot of adjustments. Um, and finally, I think that living alone will give you a lot of exposure and it will also prepare you for adulthood even more. On top of that, if you live alone, then um, you will also get to have a lot of new experiences, like new place, new friends. So that is why I choose Delhi for Rani. So I don't know about you guys. Maybe you would have chosen this one as well. But yeah, so that's my decision, and I've given you the reasons for my decision. So I hope you all have learned how to make how to express your decisions and how to express the reasons for them as well. Now, give me a second. I shall pull up the other lesson, the final lesson for the day. Just a second, guys. Okay. Hmm. Let's get started. So, I am a teacher, as many of you know, and I believe that teaching is a wonderful profession, right? So it's I know that we all have had our chance to be students, and we've got our fair share of like good teachers and really memorable teachers as well. So even though, I've had like quite lovely teachers, there were many times when my teachers would say things like, um, you know, so give me a blue pen of any color. Or she would be like, give me a black pen of any color. Sometimes they would also say phrases like, both of you, so she'd like, both of you stand apart together. So that doesn't make sense, right? So we as angry as they were when they would say all of this, my friends and I would sit and giggle because um, all of these mistakes and all these are common errors, correct? So even though our teachers are wonderful in every aspect, this is just like a little bit of fun which we're poking at all of these mistakes which they make. But at the end of the day, our teachers are our reasons for learning like a lot of things. So I feel like, as much as I poke fun at them for like, the small errors they make, still they are the reason why I'm standing here right now. So I'm going to give you some sentences. Okay, so I want you to take a piece of paper. Okay, I will give you about 1 minute each. Okay, to look at it. So you will have to tell me if it's correct or not. Okay, so take a piece of paper and note down if it's correct or not. So let's start. I'll give you 1 minute each to decide if it's correct or not. Tarun, do not have a car. Correct or incorrect? Okay, now let's look at the next one. Could you completed your homework? Or have you completed your homeworks? Sorry. Okay, done. Now next, I am having a brother and a sister. Is this correct or incorrect? Okay. Next, I don't think so. You need to bring your certificates. Is this correct or incorrect? Okay. Next one, he really likes you, isn't it? Is this correct or incorrect? Okay. The thing was, all of the sentences were incorrect. All right. All of the sentences I showed you were incorrect. So now we are going to sit and correct those questions. So Tarun, do not have a car is wrong. So what is the correct option? Correct answer is Tarun does not have a car. Have you completed your homeworks? So the correct one is, have you completed your homework? Okay, so even though you have like homework in um history, geography, English, you know the three different subjects, you've got three different homework. Okay? It's not homework, it's still all homework. I'm having a brother and a sister. So that's a fact, right? So you have a brother and sister. So since it's a fact, we will use a present, simple present tense. I don't think so. You need to bring your certificates. So it's I don't think you need to bring your certificates. He really likes you, isn't it? So he really likes you, doesn't he? So doesn't he is the correct question tag. So if you say it really likes you, doesn't it? Then it'll be correct. All right. But over here, we're talking about he. So the question tag will have he in it. So, and also if it's he is, then it'll be isn't he. So he is a professor, isn't he? He is happy, isn't he? But over here, he's doing something. So he likes you. So doing. So he likes you, doesn't he? That'll be the question tag. So why do you think people continue to speak such errors? Is it because of lack of awareness that their sentences are incorrect, or is it because people around them uh, people around speak the way they speak, so they assume that that's the correct way to speak, or is it because no one, corrected their mistakes or told them what's the correct way to speak? Why do you think people continue to speak with such errors? So people speak with such errors because of all of the above reasons. Okay. So you're not aware of the sentences. You're not sure that the sentences you speak are correct or incorrect. And then another thing is people around them. They all speak in this wrong sentence. So because you listen to others talking in wrong sentences, you assume that's the correct way to speak. And then there's also no one correcting them or telling them the correct way. So that's why people continue to speak with such errors that have been solidified this um, in this language. So today we are going to look at some common errors and we're going to correct them. Okay. Now, so I need you to choose the appropriate response for each of the following situations. All right. So I will give you about 1 minute to sit and do this. So let's look at the correct answer, shall we? So what is your name? Is a correct one. I am Arun. I'm from Chennai. Or I'm Arun from Chennai. Please sign this document. Or I'm at home. Sorry, I'm home. Yeah. He has gone out of town. So these are all the correct answers. So what is your good name? All right. So you don't need to add good. You can just directly just say what is your name. Then how do you introduce yourself? So myself, Arun, that is wrong. I'm Arun. My name is Arun. All right. So that is correct. So I'm Arun or my name is Arun and I'm from Chennai. Then how would you ask them? So kindly is used a lot, especially in like India. Kindly is used a lot, but it's kind of outdated. All right, it's very outdated and it's too informal. So you don't need, sorry, it's too formal. So you don't need to keep using kindly. You can always use please. Please is more than enough and please is accepted in today's language. Then your friend is asking, where are you now? So you can say, I'm home. So I'm at home only. Um, instead of so you can't say I'm at home for home. You can always just use home. No need to use any of the prepositions. I'm home. Then how will you tell your customer that your boss is on vacation? Okay. Out of station is a very it's Indianism. Okay, so only in India we use this phrase out of station. So outside of India, if you go and say, like let's say you live in the States or somewhere, say out of station, they wouldn't understand. All right. So gone out of town is more enough to say that you are no longer in town. Now, let's look at some questions. So, who shall we invite as the chief guest for the event? What is wrong with this sentence? So, there is an error in this sentence. Can you identify the error? I'll give you about 30 seconds. Can you identify the error? So, the correct answer is, whom shall we invite as the chief guest for the event? All right. So, who and whom? What is the difference? So, remember we have subject, verb, object. Um, that is the structure of an English language, right? So, subject is a person doing the action. So, subject is me. Okay. I am calling my friend. So I am calling my friend. So what's the action I'm doing over here? Calling. Who am I calling? My friend. All right. So I am calling my friend. So who is doing the action? The subject. So over here we say who. So whom am I calling? My friend. So the person who's receiving the action, they are the object. So when we talk about them, then we use the word whom. Okay. Who is for the person doing the action. So now let's take a look. Who shall we invite as chief guest of the event? So over here, there is an action happening, right? Invitation, inviting. So who is inviting? We. So we is the subject. So we have the subject over here. We have the verb. Now we have the object. So we don't know what the object is, right? So because it's the object, we'll say who. Okay. She was better at it than him. What's wrong in this sentence? She was better at it than him. Okay. Then there's something which you say consequential. So first you do this, then you do that. All right. He came to office at 8, then he started his work. So then there's something that is happening consequentially. But when you're comparing two things, so you're comparing this girl with this guy, right? So when you're comparing, you use that. Next, Kamal passed out of college last year. What's wrong with this? So, passed out is incorrect. You can say graduated from college last year because passed out is a phrasal verb and it usually means that you fainted. Okay. So, I passed out because I did not eat in the morning. That means I fainted because I didn't eat in the morning. So, passed out means fainting. So that's why passed out is incorrect and graduated is the correct way to say that you have completed college, you have graduated it. So I've graduated from college last year. Kamal graduated from college in 2022. Okay. He chose to do chemical engineering. What's the correct answer? He chose to do chemical engineering. All right. This advertisement hurted people's sentiment. What's the correct answer? Hurt. Okay. So this advertisement hurts people's sentiment. So choose and hurt. These are irregular verbs. So they don't always end with ed. Like look. So I look I look at this. I look at magazines regularly. Looked. I looked at a magazine yesterday. So we ended with ed, right? Oh, so I watch I watch anime. I watched Demon Slayer yesterday. So these are all regular verbs, but hurt. So hurt past tense is hurt. Choose, its past tense is chose. Drink, its past tense is drank. Okay. So it's important to keep in mind the different irregular verbs so that you can know their past tense. A large amount of people are exercising more these days. What is the mistake over here? A large number of people. Okay, so amount is usually for something that's not really countable, like water. You can't count water, right? Um, Water, land, air, and all that. So things which you can't count, you can say amount. So this bottle holds a large amount of water. Okay, but things which you can count, then you can say number. So a large number. So you can count people, right? So the large number of people are exercising more these days. Vijay was the only person that wanted to visit the museum. What is the mistake over here? Vijay was the only person that wanted to visit the museum. It's who. Okay, so since we're talking about a person, so we will always use who. That is reserved for things. All right. It was the only thing that stopped me from, coming home. Or it was the only thing that stopped me from accepting the job. So for things, you say it and that. But since Vijay is a person, we say, okay, I will return back your book tomorrow. What's the mistake over here? So return is the action of giving something back already, right? So you don't need to say back. I will return your book tomorrow is more than enough. Okay. I can't able to understand this concept. What is the problem over here? It's I can't understand this concept, or I am not able to understand. So can and able are both of these are used to express ability, right? So you can either use one. So you can either use can or you can either use able. All right. So you don't have to use both at the same time. My father is out of station. Remember, I said out of station? Yeah. So you can always say out of town or not in town. Out of station is Indianism. Okay. It's an Indian way of saying that someone's not in town. All right. So now we have looked at all of these common errors. Let's look at some practice activity, shall we? So, which is the correct sentence over here? It's not that great. It's not that much great. So the correct answer is it's not that great. What about this one? We can discuss about the issue. We can discuss the issue. Which is the correct answer? So the correct answer is we can discuss the issue. So discuss already means talking about something, right? So you don't need to say discuss about because you're already talking about something. So just discuss the issue is more than enough. Now, swimming is a more better exercise than running. Swimming is a much better exercise than running. So the correct answer is much better. Okay. So more better is incorrect. It's not the correct word to link with better. So much better. John and I are off to the circus. Me and John are off to the circus. John and I are off to the circus is correct. All right. Me and John is incorrect. What about this one? We'll get down at the next bus stop. We'll get off at the next bus stop, which is correct. So the correct answer is we'll get off at the next bus stop. Okay, so even though you're getting down from the bus, that is the action which you're doing. But the name of this particular action is getting off. All right, so we get off at the next bus stop. Now, I met my cousin yesterday. I met my cousin brother yesterday, which is the correct option. So the correct answer is I met my cousin yesterday. So even though we have male and female cousins, right? Cousin is always cousin. You don't need to specify brother or sister. So for everything else, like grandfather, grandmother, uncle, aunt, father, mother, brother, sister, we have different words for both the genders. But cousin is gender neutral. So you don't need to say cousin brother, cousin sister, just cousin. All right. Choose the correct word to fill in the blank. I am writing to dash my dissatisfaction regarding the product. Correct answer is express. Okay. So showing is the action which you're doing. So I'm showing my showing my dissatisfaction by writing it. Okay. But express, when you write something, when you say something, that means you're expressing it. So express is the correct option. Then what about this one? As you have been a Dash customer, we have decided to eliminate the late fee. So loyal. Okay, so the correct collocation which you use with customer is always loyal customer. So collocations are just natural ways in which we say words, natural ways in which words happen, like severe rainfall, or um, you know, fast food, right? So these are just natural ways in which we join words together. So the natural way in which you use customer is loyal customer. Okay. So now let's correct some errors. So over here, I've got this passage. Okay. So my parents' 25th anniversary was coming up, and I was sorry. My parents' 25th anniversary was coming up, and I was thinking of ideas to surprise them. I'm very passionate about music. I searched for online music classes, and there was one course that catched my attention. I decided to take the class. The teacher who takes the class was too experienced, and that was what I liked much about the course. She's been teaching since 25 years. The course is a little expensive. Anyways, I decided to take the class. But it turned out that I had to give an exam before joining the course. I didn't have any time to prepare for the exam. So I decided to sing a song that I already known for the event. So this passage is riddled with errors. Okay, there's a lot of errors in this passage. I would like you to take some time to go through this and correct the errors. Okay. All right. So sorry. So it starts with my parents' 25th marriage anniversary. Okay. So let's correct the errors. So my parents' 25th marriage anniversary. So is marriage correct? So wedding is the wedding is the ceremony. Marriage is the relationship. Okay, so we are in a marriage. I'm in my marriage, in my relationship. So marriage is this thing. So when you say I went to a marriage yesterday, that is wrong. So it's I went to a wedding yesterday. All right. So wedding is a ceremony. So now they're celebrating the time, that ceremony in which they got married, right? So my parents' wedding anniversary was coming up. So it's not marriage, it's wedding. And I was thinking of ideas to surprise him. I'm very passionate about music. I searched for online music classes, and there was one course that catched. So catch is an irregular verb. So one course that caught my attention. Okay. I decided to take the class. Teacher who takes the class was too experienced, and that's what I liked much about the course. What's wrong in this? So you can say very experienced instead of too experienced. Okay, the teacher is very experienced. And that's what I liked much about the course. Is there something wrong over here? We'll get back to that. All right. And then she's been teaching since 25 years. There's a mistake over here. What's the mistake? So she's been teaching for 25 years. All right. So if you're giving a date, then you can say since. So she has been teaching since 2010. She's been teaching since 2010. So we're giving a date. then you use since. But we are giving like the duration, right? Then you should say for. All right. The course was a little expensive. Anyways, I decided to take the class, but it turned out that I had to give an exam before joining the course. I didn't have many time to prepare. So is it correct? I didn't have much time to prepare. All right. So much time, because you can't really count time, right? Many is for something that you can. So I have many followers, I have many lipsticks, I have many comic books, but something which you can't count is time. So I don't have much time to prepare. So I decided to sing a song that I already know, for the event. Okay. So here is the corrections. So my parents' 25th wedding anniversary, like I said, caught teacher who teaches the class was very experienced. So now what's the difference between taking the class and teaching the class? So as a student, you take class, but the person who's teaching, all right, they're the teachers. So students take classes, teachers teach classes. Okay. Then that's the thing I like the most. Remember, I said we'll get back to this. So it's the most about this course. And again, I specified for like, when you talk about like durations, you can say past 25 years. All right. But when you say since, it's for a date. The course was a little expensive anyway. So anyways, you don't need to say S. Anyway. And then it turned out, not turned down. All right. So it turned out. So that's a correct collocation. I had to take an exam. All right. So even though you're writing something, so it's taking an exam. So I had to take an exam before joining the course. And like I said, I didn't have much time to prepare for the exam. So I decided to sing a song I already knew. All right. Okay. So that's all we have for today's class. Thank you so much for joining me. So I will see you all next week. I hope you have had a wonderful time in today's class. So goodbye. Take care.